All right, here we go. Here we go. Happy Sunday, Knicks Nation. This is the last live stream of the Offseason Central until we take a much needed break. On today's episode, we will wrap up the Knicks Summer League. We'll give you our Summer League of the all-season grades. Let me just mute my video here. Episode, we will wrap up the Knicks Summer League. We'll give you our live free agency grades, and we'll also take calls. CP from KnicksFanTV here. My man Jay Ellis from the Nick of Time Show. Special guest from WFAN 660. He covers the Knicks. He also covers the Giants as well on Giants.com. John Schmeelk joins us. John, how you feeling today, man? How's everything going, man?
How are you? Happy to be here.
Yeah, man. Thanks again for joining us, man. Definitely appreciate it.
Happy to be here.
Absolutely, man. So, Knicks, let's start with Summer League. Wrapped up Summer League 2-3 after all hell broke loose after the earthquake game and another subpar performance by one R.J. Barrett, who's been the talk of the Summer League. We've had bust talks. We've had complete overreactions from the haters and some within the fan base. But three solid performances by young Rowan Jr., three double-doubles, has everything kind of at ease right now. We're on an even keel. What are some of your thoughts on the Summer League performance by RJ and just the Knicks squad in general?
Hey, look, the first two games were as bad as it gets. The missed shots, turnovers, but it's Summer League. I mean, coming out of Summer League last year, we had all sorts of, I think, unrealistic high hopes for Kevin Knox, and then he showed up in October, and he looked like a 19-year-old kid, right? Mm-hmm. And, remember, he wasn't efficient last year in Summer League either. And I think we look at R.J. Barrett coming out of college, and this was why I didn't think he was – I would have picked him third, but I didn't think he was, head and shoulders above everybody else at three, because he's not an efficient player. He wasn't an efficient player at Duke. So if he wasn't an efficient player at Duke, why would he be walking in at the NBA level? Right. And when you're not an elite-level athlete, which I don't think Barrett is, when you're not an elite-level shooter, which Barrett's not yet, maybe he can get there, sure, you're not going to be efficient. So I think when you look at the Summer League, the flaws that you saw at Duke showed up, and that's fine. You expect it to. He's not going to solve those issues in the 3 months between March Madness and when they have Summer League in July. So, yeah, his jump shot was rough. That's cool. But what was, I think, exciting for me is that when you saw what he flashed at Duke inconsistently was his vision and his ability to be a passer. He didn't do it as much as he should have at Duke, but he showed the ability to do it. And what I like the most out of his Summer League performance is that he was able and, more importantly, willing to be a creator and a passer for his teammates. And I thought he was the best passer on the Summer League team. He was a much better creator than Kadeem Allen for his teammates. Yeah. And I thought that was a really, really, really good sign. And in the final 3 games, too, when in the first 2 he would drive into traffic, throw terrible shots and contested double, triple teams, offensive fouls. I don't think he had one charge in the final 3 games. He was able to get where he wanted to go on the court, even without that elite athleticism, finish over and through people using his strength. So I thought all those things were pretty good signs to close out Summer League.
Jay Ellis, man, to John's points, the first 2 games, it seemed like RJ was really pressing. I was at the first 2 games in Vegas. Seems like he was really pressing. Listen, the Zion game itself had, playoff atmosphere intensity. The whole building was rocking. LeBron was there. AD was there. You had Money Mayweather in the building. Everybody was just oohing and ahhing at everything that Zion did and was waiting for RJ to clap back. It was too much pressure in that game. But I think to John's points, the 3 things that really stuck out to me in the last 3 games were, number one, yes, his shot wasn't falling, but he was in straight-up attack mode. Always attacking the basket, looking to draw contact. I was very encouraged by that. What I also liked was that he was on the boards. I mean, in each game, he grabbed at least 6 rebounds. And with his size, obviously he's only going to get bigger and stronger. So you would expect that to continue. And then from a playmaking standpoint, you notice that they really went to him as the point guard and really, giving Kadeem Allen a rest. That could be a sign of things to come as we get into training camp and into the season, how they want to evaluate him at the point. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, of course, but I'll say this, though. It's going to be a lot harder to have him run the point when you have a DSJ or Alfred Payton coming in running the point guard as well. So I'm curious to see how that's going to go. I can see him doing some point guard off of rebounds and pushing the ball and having success that way like he did in Summer League. But we'll see how that really transpires when next season starts. But to kind of piggyback off what you guys said, I definitely love the passing. I think a lot of people were saying that he couldn't pass within the foul line. I felt like he made some pretty good passes even with
90 seconds.
So,
sorry, go ahead. Keep going.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's grown. It just seems like he's growing so fast. His beast basketball IQ has grown by leaps and bounds in a few months. I'm really, really excited to see what that means for us when the season actually.
Thank you for using Blog Talk.
Yeah, sorry, a little technical difficulties with the switchboard. Another thing I liked, him and Mitch seem like they're getting some chemistry going with the lobs and everything. That's certainly encouraging. John, what'd you think about Mitch's overall play this summer league?
I would have liked him to have fouled a little bit less and to be a little bit more disciplined that way. But look, he was blocking shots, he was grabbing rebounds. He's a rim runner. I thought we might see him flash a jump shot.
I was looking for the jumper, man.
I was wondering if we might see just maybe a couple. Look, I don't want to take him out of that rim running role. That's what he's so good at. But, stretching the floor is not a bad thing either. And he's apparently working on it. He shot threes in high school. So I thought he might flash that in summer league a little bit. We didn't see it. That's okay. And I think the one last point I want to make on Barrett is just that I think his swing skill is going to be a shooting guy. What's going to separate him from being a good player, from being a potential all-star player, is going to be whether or not he is consistent with his jump shot. And anybody can become better with his jumper. You got to get your form more consistent. You can already tell that his hand has moved off the top of the ball to the side of the ball. That's something he was kind of working on heading into summer league. So with his work ethic, I think he can do it. But that will be his swing skill. The Knicks have a truly difference-making player in Barrett. It's going to be because he develops a jump shot. Because if he doesn't, he's going to have a pretty limited ceiling because, eventually guys are just going to play off of him, and then nothing's going to work.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I'm just glad he was kind of able to calm down the emotions. We've had so much PTSD going on over this offseason, John. From the 17-game losing season to losing the lottery, losing free agency. It just seemed like as soon as Summer League started, everyone was trying to, was hoping that this kid would, dominate a 40-point game. And so we could actually say that we won something. But when he started bricking away, it was like, oh, he's a bust, he's this. So we got to temper expectations, man. It's just way too much pressure on this guy, man.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that you mentioned PTSD, and I think, generally speaking, and you guys have a lot of the hardcore Knicks fans watching this show, I think a lot of Knicks fans, because they've only seen, especially the younger ones, have only seen a lot of losing, and they got the one Melo season that was good, but otherwise they just lose. I feel like the fan base in general has gotten very sensitive, for lack of a better term, to any even honest criticism of the team, because if you can't look at your own team and organization honestly and make legitimate criticisms of them, and look, the Knicks, they don't do everything right. They won 17 games last year. It was a horrible year.
Right.
And heading into this offseason, if I would have told you no Zion, not one superstar, I think we all would have been disappointed, right? So that's okay to say, but at the same time, given the superstars didn't come, which in a lot of ways is beyond the Knicks' control,
right?
I think they did okay.
I agree. How about Brazdakis? What'd you think about Iggy's summer league performance? I liked him, man.
Yeah, me too. I was surprised by his passing. Reading some of the scouting reports heading out of Michigan, I don't have time to watch a lot of college basketball, so I try to catch up between March and the draft in June. And I didn't watch a lot of him playing. So I kind of went off the scouting reports. His shot looked good, but I liked his ability to drive and dish, make some good touch passes. To me, he plays not like a domestic player. He has that European game, in my opinion. I think that probably comes from his time playing FIBA for Canada. Yeah. And, he kind of has that slow motion game, but he uses the stutter steps. He uses the hesitations to kind of get where he wants to go. Mm-hmm. I wonder about his athleticism on defense guarding opposing threes. I think that could be a problem. The same way it could be a problem for RJ, by the way. The Knicks have to play him at 2. Right. I worry about him at 6'7", guarding quicker 2s in the league. But I think offensively, Brazdakis showed that he could be a contributing player for the Knicks this season right away. Yeah,
I think so, Jay Ellis. And we don't know if Bullock is going to come in or not, but Iggy's for sure going to make a name for himself come training camp to fight for some minutes. Along with John's points, what I liked about him was he's very poised. I mean, for a kid coming out freshman year out of Michigan, maybe it's the professional experience out of Canada, but he's very poised, finishes very well, very strong. Seeing him in person, he's very strong when he's attacking the basket. And the shooting efficiency really jumped out at me over the last 4 games. I mean, he shot 57% in the game against Phoenix, 11 for 19. 44% against the Raptors, 50% against the Lakers, and then 63% last night against the Wizards. I mean, he's very efficient with his jumper, man. Jails.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. And also, like, he's very deliberate, like you say. He's deliberate in his post-ups, too. Like, the fact that he's ambidextrous and can kind of back your player down and finish with your left and the right hand is a very underrated skill, and it served him right throughout the summer league. And that combined with his passing, combined with his basketball IQ, combined with his quick rotations and his jump shooting, man, he's just been a really good overall player. It's going to be tough to see where he's going to get his minutes from when the season starts as well, considering you have so many big men. It's going to be a battle when it comes down to minutes this season.
Absolutely. John, last guy, how about Knox? What you think about Kevin Knox's summer league experience in his second year? What do you think about it?
It looks like he sped up his release on his jump shot, and it looks a little bit smoother to me. I think he's going to be a better shooter this year, which to me is not surprising. To me, his most translatable skill from college was always going to be his shooting, where I think he's got a good stroke, and I think he will be a consistent shooter. The other thing that I was very happy about is that he made some nice passes. He had some nice drives and dishes to Robinson. Out of the post, he had a couple nice passes out for open threes. And look, you guys watched the Knicks last year. You know, he was a black hole last year. The ball went to him, he shot it. He did not.
He had the blinders on for sure.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I think he showed that he took him off a little bit, and he played a more complete floor game, which I think was a real good sign. I think it was the third preseason game where I thought he got a little shot happy and wasn't passing a lot. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, he passed a lot better. The defense still disappointed me a little bit. I thought he got lost a little bit off the ball, and he was getting beat by quicker guys. I still think he translates eventually to a small
stretch four.
Ball four. Yeah. I think that's going to be his best position. I really do. I wonder about his, foot speed and stuff like that to play the three consistently. And I just don't think he's that good of a ball handler either. He's good enough, but he's more of a straight line player. He's not a guy that's going to go side to side. You know what I mean? But I do think we saw important progress in specific areas where he needed him to get better. And I think he showed that in Summer League, which was a good sign.
Agreed, man. Agreed. JL, I definitely agree with John's points on the shooting. It looks like seeing Knox in person, it looked like he got a little bit bigger, man. He brought the gun show out to the Summer League a little bit too, man. And then just also kind of just noticing his demeanor in the huddles. Seems like he's really trying to take that next step from a maturity standpoint and really be a leader on this team, along with Mitch. I saw a lot of good signs with Mitch, Knox, and ISO with that Summer League team kind of trying to rally the troops. I also noticed that he was in attack mode as well, man. He was going to the hole relentlessly, running the breaks along with RJ. Obviously the knock on Knox was his motor last year. I'm kind of hoping that RJ kind of helps him improve in that area as well. Maybe they make each other better in that standpoint. What were your takeaways from Knox this summer league?
I think everybody's saying the passing is the thing that really, really kind of stood out. It just seems like he just recognizes things faster in general. When you go to the hole sometimes last season, when he drove through the hole and he kind of drove into traffic, he kind of got this sense that he was just going to try to barrel into people and then fling the ball somewhere or just fling his body somewhere. And this summer league, he kind of shown he instinctively knew where guys were going to be on the floor before the guy even got there. So, it made for a lot quicker reads and quicker passes in general. Also, he was just getting to the line, much like RJ, he was getting to the line at will. So even though he wasn't really that efficient even last game, he was able to draw some fouls. Off-ball defense wasn't good. On-ball, I feel like he seemed like he was challenging jumpers a lot more this season.
No, that's true.
I want to see how that translates to guys in the regular season as well when it's NBA-ready guys who can shoot faster. And I want to see if that translates, but people have been clamoring for him to play defense. He's so long. You want him to get a steal or a block or something. So seeing him get his hands on a few balls this summer league has been a good sign.
I'll throw one more thing real quick. I thought his finishing at the basket was a lot better. And I didn't mention that before. Last year, I feel like he would get into traffic. He would always jump off two legs with that contested floater, and it would be a really tough shot to make. I saw him jumping off 1 foot a lot more to kind of create space and kind of narrow his body to kind of get between defenders a lot more, to either draw a foul or finish, to your point. And I do think that's something else he has to get better at if he wants to become a more efficient player. If the jumper comes along, which I think it will, if he can finish better around the hoop, he can become a legitimately good NBA player in the league, a good offensive player at least.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So, yeah, good summer league. I'm glad that these guys wanted to play the whole thing out, and get that chemistry together. It seems like they're really taking it serious, and they're ready to get to work. Obviously, they have a summer coming up. They'll, work on some of their weaknesses. I wonder who we'll see playing down at Black Ops basketball with Chris Brickley and those guys. But, yeah, good summer league all the while. All right, let's switch it over to free agency. So, John, obviously, we know what free agency brought. The hype and the drama, the letdown to the Nets. It was. I don't know how you could be a fan of any other team, man, because no other team goes through these type of emotions than a Knicks fan. But at the end of the day, I think the management set out for a plan. They said if Plan A didn't work, they were going for Plan B. And I thought, by and large, they executed the plan. They got their veterans. They had to spend the 90% of the cap. They got guys that can slot in. One player that they got who I think still has a bit of promise is Julius Randle.
Yeah, sure.
So they signed him to the extra year deal, the 3-year deal. But for the rest of the guys, I thought, signing these guys to 2-year deals were basically 1 year guaranteed. Kept the cap flexible, but also brought in guys that can help the young guys, and help us win now. How did you see the offseason in terms of free agency?
Yeah, I agree, and I think you're right. The Plan A, and I think it's okay to say this, Plan A was a failure. Yeah. And if someone tries to come and convince you that they wanted to build slowly, they weren't all in on Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving.
No, they were.
Nonsense.
Yeah.
They absolutely were.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it was late spin or whatever it was that James Dolan was hesitant about giving Durant a long-term contract. Let me tell you something. Steve Mills and Scott Perry would have given him that long-term contract in a second. I promise you that. So that's number one. Number two, yes, I think they did a good job. The one thing I would level a little bit of criticism on is that, and you kind of mentioned, both of you guys mentioned it before when you talked about the roster, they literally have too many guys on the roster that need to play. I mean, right now you probably have 13 or 14 guys on this roster that legitimately think they deserve 20 minutes a game. Yeah. Well, that's not possible. It's not going to happen. So I think if instead of using one of those spots on a player, if they could have absorbed Mo Harkless or something like that to pick up a pick, I think that would have been important, because moving forward now, the most important thing for the Knicks is to figure out a way to get a star player. You can't succeed in the NBA without stars, right? You hope R.J. Barrett can become one. Otherwise, you got to do it by a trade, which the only way you can do it is if you have enough assets to do it, and if your team's ready to absorb a player like that, which the Knicks weren't this year. That's why they weren't in on Anthony Davis. Yeah. Or you got to sign one in free agency. And in order to do that, you have to have flexibility, which they still have. You have to be good enough, like the Nets were this year, to attract that player. But the third way you get it is by drafting them. So you want to maximize your opportunities to obtain that star player, however you get them.
Right.
And you do that by acquiring draft picks.
Yep.
Whether that draft pick is eventually used in a trade to acquire a player, or that draft pick is used to draft the player, whatever the case might be, which is why I thought they should have used at least some of that space to acquire another draft pick or two down the road, just because I think there's diminishing return. I mean, I like Taj Gibson, but he's making $10 million a year. He's going to play, 12 minutes? Wayne Ellington's going to play, 12 minutes, and he's making $8 million a year? That's great. They're good players. They'll help the team. I agree. But I think you get more out of the draft pick asset than you'll get out of those guys playing 10 to 12 minutes a game.
That's true. JL, I would have liked to have gotten the Harkless deal. Number one, for the asset. Number two, because he's a good defender. I like Mo Harkless. Local guy, went to St. John's. Obviously, we always wanted him in a Knick uniform. I thought that would have been a good move. How do you see the roster construction right now, JL? A lot of people are saying that it's almost too much depth. But how do you see it?
It's gonna be tricky, man. You can foresee another Enos Cancer situation coming around December, just like last year when it's like I'm not getting playing time. What about me? What am I doing wrong, coach? And it's just like you got 30 other dudes need playing time too, and we gotta do something about it. And then at that time, you just kind of hope that you'll be able to move somebody for some like an asset or something like that.
Yeah.
But the thing is too is like when people aren't playing, their value isn't as high either. So it's going to be tricky. It's going to be a tricky balancing act. I do like the depth, though. I do like the Morris signing. The Bullock stuff, Bullock and Wayne Ellington, maybe we could, not sign those guys because of Dotson and Trier, and
With the,
like
I
I
mean,
feel
with the
like
way Iggy's playing, I might just tell Bullock, you know what, never mind. You know what I mean? Because I just don't know, like, how much value are you going to get out of him?
yeah, the plantar fasciitis, like Lance Thomas had plantar fasciitis for years with the Knicks, and he was always in and out of the lineup. So I can't imagine Reggie Bullock being here with plantar fasciitis and seeing him getting consistent good minutes without being injured. So I don't even know if it's even worth kind of bringing him on right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As good as he seems, he could be good if he's healthy. But it's just roll with Dot and Trier. We got enough guards here in that regard as well. I feel like those guys can actually be pretty good. Those are actually some of the guys I was actually confident in coming into the season that can contribute. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. So John, I know from reading your article, you gave them a C on free agency. Are you sticking by? You're sticking by it?
Yeah, and by the way, I also like the Marcus Morris signing. I think he's a good player.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, if he's on this roster beyond the trade deadline, I'll be shocked. I think he is the prime guy to get moved to a contending team. Because he can be a good starting player on a good team in this league. So I think that's a guy that there's a good chance he gets moved at the trade deadline. But yeah, look, you immediately get rid of anything in your A grade range because of the fact they didn't get any superstars.
Right. Plan A didn't work.
I took him out of that completely. And then the reason I didn't give him something in the B range is because they didn't acquire any future assets. So there were three things that I wanted to do this year: either get a star, if you don't get a star, get future assets, and then three, get good players to make the team better. To me, they hit 1 out of 3. 1 out of 3 gives them the C.
JLs, what's your letter grade here for free agency?
I was kind of going over like the C+, B- range, only because I do like the win factor, the growth factor. I feel like a lot of these guys that we signed are going to push these young players to the next level. It's going to help double our wins right off the bat. Probably going to make the playoffs, but we're going to look like a competent team. It's going to accelerate our youth, and I think and we didn't do anything stupid,
Yes. And for that reason,
Tobias Harris is not here for 5 years max. Like we didn't Chris Paul. We didn't trade for Chris Paul. Like we didn't do nothing stupid.
Fact. And you know what?
I think there's a legitimate chance Julius Randle's an all-star this year with the number of guys on this team. And the one thing the Knicks didn't need, by the way, was efficient volume scoring, which is something they don't have. Yeah. I think Randle's going to be a 23, 24-point guy, high 40s, low 50% field goal percentage, maybe 10 rebounds. I think there's a legitimate chance. They might ding him for being on a bad team, but I think numbers-wise, he will be a 22, 9, or 10 type of guy this year at high efficiency. So if he plays a little bit better defense, I think he got a legitimate chance to be an all-star. I really do.
Yeah, I don't see why not. I'm giving him a B-, man. A B-. I'm comfortable with that. I think to what you said, John, about Marcus Morris is kind of why I didn't really trip over them not really getting the assets in during free agencies, because he could either push somebody out via trade or he can get traded himself to a contender, which will bring an asset back. So I don't think it's necessarily, it's not like it's too late to go out and get, another asset back for one of these guys. So I still think they remained flexible with what they did. And at the same time, I mean, Jails, a lot of people are flashing that P word around. I'm kind of leery to do so. I'm still sticking to 29 wins for me is my bar. Anything over that, to me, I'm good with it. You know what I mean? I know I see people flashing that P word around. I wouldn't go so far, but I still like the moves that they made.
It really depends on the young guys, man. Like,
yeah,
I feel like a guard has to show out and improve for that to happen. Like,
DSJ, man, been saying it all this time. It's all DSJ, man.
Yeah, DSJ. Even if don't sleep on Peyton either, Mr. Five triple doubles last season. Don't sleep on my guy either. But like, if a guard steps up, because I feel like you kind of know what Julius is going to give you. If a guard steps up, who's going to give you jump shots, who's going to run this team, then maybe I can see us kind of sneaking into the A. But right now, I'm staying pat at my 30 to 35.
Yeah, I agree. I think 30 wins is the goal here, guys. And if you get to 30, I think that means you had a good year, and it shows progress. And I think maybe you guys disagree with me, but coming out of last year, do you have any idea how David Fizdale wants to play basketball?
And you know what? That was my question for you, John. That was my question.
No idea. And we still don't. And I think he needs, as bad as the Nets have been up until this year, at least you saw what they were trying to do. You got it, right? You knew what they were trying to get to. Yeah. I don't know what the Knicks are trying to get to yet.
Right.
Now, they were so bad last year with the talent. And by the way, just look at the contracts of the guys that left the Knicks last year and what type of deals they got. Cantor got 5 a year. Vonleh got nothing. Moutier got nothing. Cornette got nothing. It's not like these guys are signing contracts anywhere else. People understood the quality of the players in the Knicks last year. They were not high. So, look, you try to get to 30, and if you do better than that, great. And the good thing about it now is that 30 to 32 or 33 wins is not purgatory anymore, because the way you have the new draft lottery odds, there's a chance you're moving up.
Hey, that could be number one pick territory, man. That could be number one pick territory, man. But JL's John's right on Fizz, and that's why I put Fizz in today's cover, is because it's on Fizz now, man, to really make this thing work. And we still don't know who this guy is as a coach. He's only done 1.5 years at Memphis. This past season, we don't know if it was a tank, if it was a half a tank, or the players just weren't that good. But, the constant rotation, the lineup changes, the questionable, sometimes, game-ending strategies in crunch time. We just don't know what he is. And then on top of that, Fizz was supposed to be the guy who was supposed to court all these free agents. Right? Fizz was supposed to be labeled the guy that, has respect around the league, has respect around the top players, and we didn't even get a meeting with those guys. So it kind of seemed like everything last year ran counter to what we were trying to accomplish. But JS, what's your takes on that?
I was going to say, 17 wins doesn't get you that many meetings. But but I also say this, like, you're right. We don't know what Fizz is going to do. You're hoping that because there's an increased veteran presence, that he'll be able to implement more complicated offensive and defensive systems, because his whole thing was, I'm trying to build these guys one skill at a time, and I don't want to overbury them with all this information. Yeah. So if that's true, and we have all these veterans here now who actually know what they're doing, who's been around the NBA, who knows schemes offensively and defensively, then maybe this season can actually take a step forward in implementing an actual system.
There were a couple of things last year at Fizdale that really got on my nerves. Emmanuel Mudiay was one.
Wasted time. Wasted time.
A complete waste of time, and we saw it.
Yep.
He left. So why? And look, I know Neil Keane was hurt at the end of the year, and that's fine, and they couldn't play him. I get it. And I don't know what Frank's going to be. I would not even be shocked if he was on the roster come, the first game of the year, given all the depth they have. But it was just it was a waste of time. And I also think that he did a poor job disciplining bad play by certain players. And I think, when guys took bad shots, they didn't get taken out of games. And I think it's very important as he tries to develop these young guys, especially a guy like RJ Barrett at Duke, who, look, his shot selection at Duke wasn't great. He forced a lot of shots. And I think it's important and even for Kevin Knox, for Fizdale to be harder on these guys. And maybe he'll be able to do that a lot better with more veterans on the roster, and that'll help. That's possible. But the way this team is going to get better now, the free agents will help, and they'll help on the margins. But it's the guys that they drafted that are going to turn this team from a 17-win team into a 30-win team. It's going to be Barrett, how good he is, Knox's improvement.
Yep.
Dennis Smith Jr. could very well be the swing player on this whole team.
That's what I think.
I love the fact that he reworked his jump shot, because he has a terrible hitch in it. And until he fixes that, it was never going to get better. So hopefully that jumper gets better. And I think the other thing with Dennis Smith Jr. too, did it seem to you guys that he was always in attack mode and was always going 100 miles per hour on offense every game? I didn't see that. I saw a guy that was coasted, and that frankly he did that at NC State too, which is why I wasn't a big fan of his coming out of the draft that year. And we saw it with the Knicks last year. So I think if Smith can get those things kind of ironed out, I think you might have something there with his athleticism. So look, Fizdale has a tough job this year. He's got to keep veterans happy. He's got to develop young guys all at the same time while trying to win games. He does not have an easy job, and what he did last year does not inspire a lot of confidence in me. Now the team was so bad, I have an open mind. I'm not burying him yet, but there are legitimate reasons, I think, to be concerned with some of the things that he's going to have to deal with this year, which are going to be tricky for any head coach.
True indeed. John, how you doing on time? You have time to take a phone call?
Absolutely. Why don't we go another 10 minutes?
Okay, all right, no problem. Real quick shout out to everybody in the chat watching. Hit that thumbs up button for your boys. CP from the KnicksFanTV, my man J. Ellis from the Nick of Time Show. Special guest John Schmeelk from WFAN 660. This is the end of the off-season wrap-up show. End of the off-season live stream. If you guys are new in the chat, leave us with the hashtag new so we can shout you guys out. And also leave us with what city you guys are checking in from. Leave your city in the chat as well so we can see where you guys are watching from. All right, first caller up. Let's go to JJ from Brooklyn. He wants to talk about hoping that the development doesn't help. I mean, the win now mentality doesn't hurt the young players. JJ, what's going on, man?
Yo, what's going on? How you guys doing, man?
Good. How you
What's
feeling,
up,
bro?
Jay?
Pretty good, pretty good. I just want to say, because, we have so much depth now. It's like, say Knox is struggling again. How do you, keep trying to win, but, don't take minutes away if they're struggling? You don't want to hurt the development while you try to win. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, that's a challenge for Fizz. I mean, John, who do you think with Marcus Morris coming in here now? That was one of the questions that I posed. Who do you see starting at the 3? Because are you going to start the guy? Yes, you paid him, but he's here. Is he here long term? Highly doubtful. Over the kid that you drafted, or it's a weird balance here. It's a weird balance here. What do you think?
No, it's tough, man. It's tough. I hope that Dennis Smith Jr. first of all beats out Elfrid Payton, number one. If he doesn't, I think we're on a lot of trouble. To be quite honest with you, they need Dennis Smith Jr. to be better than Elfrid Payton. They just do.
Yep.
My feel is that, despite the fact that I worry about it defensively, I think R.J. Barrett's just starting 2-guard the way we saw him use him in Summer League. And then you have Mitch at the 5, obviously, and Julius Randle at the 4. That's a really good question. I think you make Knox earn it. And if Knox shows, I think you make it a legitimate competition. And Knox has to show that he's got better defensively, he's improved, that he plays enough. And I think the way you balance it is that, maybe Kevin Knox won't play 34 minutes a game. Maybe he's only going to play 26. Yeah. That's still plenty of time for him to develop. Now, you can't bury him on the bench like Frank last year.
Right.
Yeah.
But, you can still get him – even if he's not starting, you can still get him 25, 26 minutes a game, which would be more than enough for him to work on his skills. And frankly, I thought they might have overplayed Knox a little bit last year. I think he was dead tired.
Yeah, they ran him into the ground. Maybe that was a way to get his motor and to stab it up. I don't know.
Trying to get that motor up.
JLs, where are you going, Knox or Morris at the 3?
I think I would go Morris, at least for now. I think I would go Morris off the top. He's proven right now, and make Knox earn it. I like what I've seen from Knox so far, but make Knox beat this guy.
Yep.
You take those minutes. Just keep what you feel right now, man. If you're trying to go for the 30 wins or the 32, you gotta go with the best team and then make them earn it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. All right, let's go next call up. Aaron from Kentucky wants to talk about RJ and Knox's performances in the Summer League. Aaron, how you doing?
I'm good, man. Thanks for taking my phone call. I love what y'all do with the show, man. I just discovered it probably about a month ago, man. It's just it's really good to go to something that where it's positive vibes, man, on the New York Knicks. Besides what comes on ESPN with Stephen A. Smith and them, man. Good stuff, man.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
But no problem, man. My thing with R.J. Barrett, man, I'm like a Knicks fan, man. I'm also a diehard Duke fan. I watched R.J. Barrett since he was a sophomore in high school because I pretty much knew he was coming to Duke. And this dude, man, he just refuses to be average, man. Like, his work ethic, just like Zion's, man. Those two together, bro, they would just they worked hard, man. And I don't know if you ever watched the game where he lit up the USA team for like almost 50 when he was playing for Canada. His shot looked good in that game. He had games this year at Duke where he started out 5 for 5 at Virginia, who was the best defense in the country. I mean, his shot can be there at times, but I do see where, where he does need to work on it. I just think that, with his work ethic and stuff like that, man, he's going to refuse to be just average, man. He's going to be great in the NBA, and I think it's good because I think that's going to rub off on players like Kevin Knox, who kind of needs that push sometimes.
That's
man,
what I think.
Like at Kentucky and what he done last year, he kind of, if he struggled, man, he kind of fades to the corner and stuff sometimes, man. But I did like what I've seen out of the Summer League with Kevin Knox being more aggressive. I think that's just RJ Barrett rubbing off on him with stuff like that.
Okay, appreciate the call, man. Good points, and like John said, it's gonna hitch on RJ's shot. His ability to be, and even free throws as well, man. Because in college, he only shot 67% from the stripe. So even if he's gonna be, aggressive and get into the line, he's got to get better at that as well. What do you guys think, John? What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And look, the free throw shooter is one of the things I look at to determine whether or not a guy is a good shooter or not. Because I think if you have that consistent form at the line, you can translate it. And I think Dennis Smith, his free throw percentage is not great. And I think that reflects on his ability to hit jump shots consistently. Knox last year, his free throw percentage was disappointing, but I think we saw it got better at the end of the year. Yeah. So I'm not so worried about that. But look, Barrett, he has to get more consistent with his shooting form. If he does that, he's going to be a really good player. If he doesn't, he's going to be an okay player. And we'll see where it goes.
JL, what's your takes on it?
I mean, it's pretty much the same, man. Like, he just has to get in the gym and get those reps up. I'm not sure if it's going to happen this season. I'm hoping
No, it won't. It won't happen this year.
Or, like, you saw how this summer league, people were kind of trying to – they needed a scouting report. They was leaving him open. They were trying to force him right, but he kind of find ways to kind of attack closeouts correctly and even finish with his right hand. So he found ways to do things even though – like people kind of game plan against him. So you're hoping that can carry over and eventually like the shot falls.
Yep, true indeed, man. All right, let's go to North Carolina. Boogie's up. He wants to give his feedback on the last game of the Summer League. Boogie, how you doing, man?
Yo, what's going on, fellas? How y'all doing, man, on this Sunday, man?
Good, man. How you doing, bro?
Hey, yo, I'm really, really liking and loving the direction where the team is at, man, especially where they close, man. But honestly, to myself, man, the way I was looking at things and just trying to put together a roster, we need to have a top 2 bench in the East. And I'm really liking Peyton, and I'm really liking RJ, and I'm really liking Knox, and I'm really liking Morris, and I'm really liking Randall as a 5. That's a solid 5. And we good on defense. Coming off that bench, I like ISO and DSJ. I like Iggy. The dude that we just got from Washington, he played with Washington. I can't think of his name. He's slipping my mind. And Mitch. I like that 5 that just come in and just raise a whole bunch of havoc, man. Yeah. That I can't really hear y'all. Y'all low on y'all.
Sorry, Portis.
Porter. That's it.
Yeah.
I like that 10 right there. See, some of them guys, Fizz don't have to do a whole lot of figuring. Some of them guys is getting paid to be there to show leadership. They're not getting paid to really get on that court. And they also get paid, you know what I'm saying, to keep our money straight. So I don't look for all of us, to be getting a whole lot of run, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think he's just going to go with a solid 10 unless we get down to something towards a playoff run, then he'll really, really figure out what he really, really has. But I believe Peyton, like I said once before, $8 million is a lot of money for him to just be coming off that bench. And Morris is not coming off that bench with 15. But RJ and Knox, I like them at the 2 and 3, and you got to put Randall in there. The rest of them guys, man, they going to come in and run, play hard D, and, you know what I'm saying, get the crowd involved and all that. I look for them to raise havoc, man. Okay. But I really like the direction we going with the Knicks. I'm loving it, man.
All right, appreciate the call, Boogie, man. I agree with some of his points in that I don't see Gibson and Ellington needing a lot of minutes. Especially Gibson. I feel like Gibson is really going to fill that DeAndre Jordan role to really be there for Mitch, help these young guys be more professional, help them prepare. Obviously he didn't have a terrible year last year, but he's not who he once was in the Chicago days. But somebody's going to have to slide out. I don't see Mitch sliding out of that top 5. I mean, John, it damn near seems like they're gearing up for Mitch to be the franchise center, man. They just said the other day that he was untouchable in the AD trade. So I don't see Mitch sliding out that top 5. We need to start with his defense.
Yeah, I mean, he's got defensive player of the year type of potential. And, Rudy Gobert is the elite shot blocking, rim protecting center in the league, and he's fantastic. But, Mitch is a lot more mobile than him. The one thing that Gobert has issues with in the playoffs when they play teams like the Rockets, right, he can't switch. So they run the high screen. He switches on Harden and Harden toasts him. Well, Mitchell Robinson can actually guard guards on switches
Yeah.
up top. So I think his defensive potential is darn near unlimited. But I think, let me ask you guys this question, because I've been thinking about this, and I don't have a good answer for it. Maybe you guys do.
Mm-hmm.
You figure what? They're going to be an 11-man rotation consistently? You figure something like that?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
So what 3 or 4 guys do you think are going to be out of the rotation and not playing?
Man,
Go ahead, Jails.
It's hard.
Who do you think, Jails?
I don't know, man. Like, you think Taj off the jump. You think Ellington off the jump.
I think Frank. I think you got to put Frank
I think
in there.
Frank's out.
Oh yeah, Frank. You don't know, like Frank.
And maybe even Dotson, man. Dotson, my guy. I'm not sure if Dotson can crack that road because ISO is going to play. I don't see ISO not playing.
Yeah.
I don't see him not playing. I think your guards are going to be DSJ, Peyton, ISO. You're going to have Barrett, ISO. You know, he can run the 2 as well.
And it makes me weird because you know I always scream free Dot.
I love Dotson, man.
Yeah.
I love Dotson.
I feel like Dotson fits better with the teams, but people have higher ceilings. So then it kind of messes with his values. Like, how you going to play a guy who fits better but not have the highest ceiling? So it kind of messes him up.
Well, the other thing, too, I want to bring up, and I think a lot of the guys you mentioned that won't play, I think they're also some of the best defenders on the team.
Yeah, exactly.
That's something else I had a problem with Fizdale last year, too. He complained about how the team didn't play defense, and then he didn't play any of his good defense.
Right.
He did time and time again. So, Bobby Portis, as much as he can score, he's terrible defensively.
Yeah.
He's legitimately bad. Julius Randle's not very good defensively. We know Barrett and Knox are probably going to struggle defensively early on in their careers, right? Wayne Ellington's not a defender. Dennis Smith Jr. is okay. Is he great? No. So are we going to get back to not caring about defense again? That's why it's really hard.
It's tough.
It's really, really hard for Fizdale this year. It's not going to be easy for him.
And that's why I even think, because I feel like Fizdale likes defensive centers. So every time I think about lineups, I'm like, yo, Taj Gibson's not going to play. And then I think, wait, we don't have a defensive center outside of the pitch. Like, it's like a real drop-off. It's like, okay, well, then do you play what, Taj with Portis? Like, how does this work? Like, I don't know, man. The team is built very weird. Like, I keep saying this. I've been saying this all summer. Like, the team is built weird, man. There's a lot of potential here, but people have to actually get better in certain areas for this to really make sense.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're going to have to go to Taj in those nights when you're going up against, Gobert and maybe, Hassan Whiteside or somebody like that. He's probably next to Mitch. He's probably the next tallest big on the team and the best defender on the team. And we just don't know yet, like I was saying with Mitch. I don't think you want to just throw him in there for a 45-minute a night, 82-game load. You still don't know how he's going to hold up durability-wise. And also, can he stay disciplined from a fouling standpoint? That was one of the things he didn't really do in Summer League. I know you get 10 bullets to use, and they were using it. But you just don't know how well Mitch is going to handle a full-time job next season.
And by the way, I'll throw this out there, too. Last year, at the end of games for the Timberwolves, they were putting Taj Gibson on the other team's best player. Mm-hmm. Even if that player was a wing. Like, he would guard LeBron down the stretch. He would guard Durant down the stretch of these games. So he is a legitimately really, really good defensive player. And I think as a team defender, too, teaching these young guys how to rotate, how to help, and how to instinctually do the right things.
Right.
I think having him on the floor to do that is a lot more valuable than having him on the bench telling them in practice how to do it. If they see him do it on the floor, I think that's a much bigger impact than him just telling them in practice.
Yeah. Apparently, we had a guy named Joakim Noah. That was a guy that we wanted to slot into that role, but apparently New York was too lit for him, JLs. He couldn't handle it. He took off and ran into the jungles and bleached his hair blonde and, for some spiritual awakening or something. I don't know, man.
Yeah, is he signed yet?
Nah, good riddance, man. Good riddance, man. But John, I figure you got to run, man. But so
you know what? If you want to go another 5 minutes, I can do it.
Okay, cool. All right, so we got John for another 5 minutes. Next up, let's go to Moses from New York. He wants to talk about the Knicks' overall team and the Summer League performances. Moses, how you feeling, bro?
I'm doing fine, thank you. How y'all doing?
Good. What's going on?
All right, well, let me tell you something. Let me start from scratch. You want to know why New York stink for many years?
Mm-hmm.
Want to know what's the main reason why?
Why?
New Yorkers don't have patience to build a team. You got to have patience to build a team. And that's what Scott Perry and Steve Mills is doing. Even though I like Barrett, well, we just got him, so I would say give him some time. and I like Knox developing. To me, I would say go with the youth movement, because no matter how many times you try to get big stars, you always end up failing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, your opinion, yeah. So, your opinion, what's your opinion about what's his name? About Dennis Smith Jr. Do you think that with him and the rest of the guys on the roster, I would say, do you think? To me, I feel like I'll be shocked if they actually make it to the playoff and the 6th seed. I'll be shocked. Thanks for taking my call.
All right, appreciate the call, Moses. John, I'll let you kick that off.
Yeah, I mean, they're not getting the 6th seed. They're just not, which is fine. I think Dennis Smith Jr., like I said, is a swing player for the team. And, just to his larger point, I think Knicks fans are willing to be patient. And I think that's kind of been a bad rap for all New York sports fans over the course of the years, that, they need to win now. They're not willing to rebuild and be patient, all that stuff. I think it's nonsense. I think it's always been nonsense. And that being said, you can't just, keep drafting in the top 10 and expect, you'll find the star. It'll happen. I mean, you can go through the teams, guys. There have been teams that have been drafting in the top 10 for a decade, and the best player they've gotten is a borderline all-star out of the deal. So it's hard. So
it's tough.
While no, you don't go for the quick fix right away, but literally on average, there's 3 or 4 truly difference-making players in each NBA draft. There's 60 guys picked. 3 or 4 are true difference makers. That's it. Yeah. So while it's, cool to say quick fix and all this stuff, that's great. It's not quick fix. You're guaranteeing your result. Yeah. If you're signing a star in free agency, you know what you're getting. If you're drafting a guy, I don't care where you drafted him, you don't know what you're getting. These guys, the way they go from college to the pro, you don't know. But if you go out and you sign a free agent, is it a quick fix? You want to call it that? Fine. I don't care. The guy's a really good NBA player. And I think, I said it before, that's what the Knicks now have to focus on going forward. Maximize their opportunities to find difference makers, whether it's the draft or elsewise. That's how they have to do it.
Yeah, and that was a good article that you had wrote. I was reading that one last night as well. It's a crapshoot, man. It's a very tough thing. But at the end of the day, as you said, we have to continue to build on these assets, acquire these assets, and hopefully develop some of these talents. Yeah, they may not be the superstar that we need, but they may be the guys like, I hate to bring the Nets up, but the guys like some of the Nets have that were able to get them up to that 40-win mark into the playoffs. Right, the Dinwiddies, the Joe Harrises of the world, right?
Or you can even look at the Raptors, too.
Well, the Raptors as well. So that when these superstars do come, they can make a complete team and eventually compete for something real.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, here's the thing. At the end of the day, if we do draft well and we keep cap flexibility, we have cheap, talented guys, sustaining winning would be easier, you know what I mean? We'd be able to
100%
more long term than just pulling all that money in all big name free agents. So we just have, I guess I feel that's what the Knicks are trying to kind of do right now. Just show that we can win, show that we do have a system, hopefully, that come on to this, and develop these guys. So it's okay, we know what the Knicks aren't as bad. They do have a plan. They do have young guys with promise. See, it works with these people guys. So now if we take out Morris and add an all-star there, then maybe some noise can be had.
Zach Lowe used the term proof of concept, and that's what the Nets had. They had proof of concept. Mm-hmm. They showed that they could develop guys, they could draft well, and they could take a team with no high draft picks and no stars and turn it into a playoff team. The Knicks have to show they can do that, so star players are willing to put their trust in the organization.
I mean, listen, the guy didn't even take a meeting with the Nets, JLs. He basically announced on Instagram, and the Nets was like, oh, we got this guy. The guy didn't even need a meeting to make his decision. I mean, remember, he said he told Chris Haynes, I'm talking about KD, he told Chris Haynes, I can't be recruited. There's no pitch. There's no nothing that you can do. So he was watching from afar all these moves that were being made. Obviously, yeah, he wanted to play with Kyrie, but the Nets just made the most sense that fit his goals, and we just weren't ready yet, and that was the reality of the situation.
Just get ready.
And be ready in 2021. That's your next shot. You have 2 years to get ready. Be ready and be a destination. That's all they can do.
Man.
Can only hope, man. John, how you doing? One more, or you got a cut?
I can do one more call.
All right. Here we go. My man Ari from Manhattan's up. He wants to talk about RJ Fizz and the potential starting lineup. Ari, how you doing, bro?
Hey, what's up, guys? How are you?
Good. How you doing?
All right.
I'm good. I had to take a little break from the phone lines after my last call. It was pretty. I got it pretty bad after that one. But
John, Ari had a meltdown for free agency, man. We had to talk him off the ledge.
Ari.
It was a
tough,
rough one.
I feel for you, bro.
Yeah, it happened. I wanted to talk about first of all, I agree with everything that John is saying with regards to David Fizdale. I've been saying this for such a long time already. That he held no one accountable for anything, whether they would take bad shots or if they didn't play defense or anything like that. He gave Kevin Knox the starting job right off the bat. I think this year we should learn from our mistakes from last year, and I feel like the two biggest mistakes that our front office made is that they mismanaged expectations, and they didn't. The culture was more built towards coddling young guys as opposed to earning your spot, which is why I kind of think that everyone besides Mitch, who already earned it, and Julius Randle, 1 through 3, I think you got to go to training camp and have all the spots open, and whoever earns it through training camp should take the spot. That's just what I personally think. And I also think that R.J. Barrett, if it was me, I wouldn't start R.J. Barrett because, again, you want to manage the expectations. And I kind of feel like it was good that he had 2 really poor showings in Summer League because now everyone thinks he thought he was a bust and his expectations, he lowered his expectations himself. But I feel like for him, it's better for him to go against the second unit guys, earn his spot, like anyone else in any other employment, whatever job you have to earn your spot. You don't just get it. And I think that's the way that you build a culture, by earning your spot, creating a competition, and the best man wins. And if you can't get the starting job, you don't have the minutes, you got to level up and get better. What do you guys think about that?
I think to your point, Ari, though, that means you shouldn't artificially just put him on the bench either. That to me is just as bad as saying you're starting no matter what than saying you're on the bench no matter what. You know what I mean? And I think if he shows that he's the best player, he should start. If he shows that he's not, then okay, you don't want to start him. I get it. That's fine. But I think you have to give him a legitimate shot to earn the job. And would I be surprised if they decide that he's a better player than Alonzo Trier and
Dotson?
Yeah, Dotson and all those guys? Absolutely not. So I would have no problem if Barrett earns it for him to be a starting wing on the team. I'd have no problem with that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's a fair point. I think as of right now, listen, if he goes into training camp and he outperforms everybody else, of course, and he deserves it. But my concern with him, I think he has a very high floor. I think no matter what, even if he never learns how to shoot, the way he could pass, the way his playmaking ability, just his hustle, I feel like he's going to be an asset for the team regardless. But I'm a little concerned about his ceiling to the extent that he's not quick enough to take it to the rim like Russell Westbrook or Derrick Rose or John Wall or basically anybody else who can't shoot. But he also can't shoot lights out. So he's stuck in the spot where it's it's going to be hard for him to get to the rim against playoff teams and NBA, real quality NBA starters. But he doesn't have a jump shot that he could rely on. So I feel like for him, if he really wants to, he's going to have I feel like he's going to have a hard time being the go-to scorer on a team unless he really learns how to shoot. Because I don't think he has the explosiveness that a lot of the other guys who can't shoot have.
Well, look, he has to shoot and he has to defend. Those are the two things he has to do: shoot and defend. And if he can figure out those two things, he'll be good. To me, his low outcome when he got drafted, I thought was an Evan Turner type. If he never learns how to shoot, but he can still kind of pass a little bit, be that kind of point forward. I thought that to me is his lowest floor outcome, is an Evan Turner type of player. I think he's going to be a lot better than that. But I think body type, athleticism, pass first type of guy, not a great shooter. That to me is his floor. I think he's going to be a lot better than that because what the caller said before, I think he's a hard worker. He'll get a shot better. But look, I think you give him every opportunity to win the starting spot. And quite frankly, who do you really trust to handle the ball on this team besides Dennis Smith Jr. and Alfred Payton? I mean, you need a secondary ball handler. Knox to me is always going to be more of a finisher than he is a creator, which is fine. To me, I still think Tobias Harris is a really good comparison for him. You don't want Tobias Harris handling the ball, but he's a good finisher, whether it's in jumpers or drives or whatever. So I think it makes sense that if Barrett's going to be your secondary ball handler, I have no problem with that.
JL, I said this on another show. I said you need help moving the ball. And I don't see RJ having trouble getting that starting spot. I just don't see it. Number one, I think ISO's better suited off the bench. And number two, Dotson, he's not a creator. I like his on-ball defense. I like his three-point shooting efficiency. But other than that, I see him as well as a bench player. But with RJ, you need assistance moving that ball, especially with DSJ out there, with Randall, if Knox is starting as well, Mitch as well. You need help getting that ball movement going. And as we've seen, they want extra looks at RJ as a playmaker with the ball in his hands. So, well, we'll see what happens. I mean, in terms of the jump shot, he's just getting started. We got to give this guy some time getting the gym.
It's going to take years.
It's going to take a while.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but also I think with his size, he might not have the athleticism, but we'll see if he can find ways to be more crafty, use his body, use his size to get in the paint and be crafty and drawing that contact.
And by the way, to that point, we saw him flash that Euro step in Summer League,
right.
too, man. He had a couple of those.
Nice one. Nice. Yeah, he had a nice one.
Yeah. It's all like, to me, if he's going to be as successful, it's going to be bully ball. He's going to be a
bully ball.
If we'll see if that's going to work on the next level, because you heard me all year, I've had the same concerns Arby's had, but if he seemed to have gotten by in summer league, I just want to see what he happens during the actual season. But it seems like he might be able to get by doing his bully ball routine. Drawing fouls will be huge for us if he can just get a lot of points drawing fouls and into the foul line a lot, and then kind of just reading the defense and getting other guys hitting shots, because he's done that a lot for the summer league as well. That'll be a nice little antidote to have as a secondary ball handler on the team.
True indeed, man. So John, this is probably it, right?
Yeah, I got to roll, boys. I appreciate the time today. This was fun. I'm happy to do it again whenever you want.
Absolutely, man. Just let the viewers know where they can find you at, and plug whatever your latest content is.
Absolutely. You find me on Twitter at Schmeelk. That's SCHM2ESLK. WFAN.com. You got my Knicks blog, and then make sure if you're a big Knicks fan, subscribe to my podcast. It's called The Bank Shot. You can find it on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, pretty much all your favorite podcast platforms. I'm going to talk to Mark Berman and do kind of an off-season review on Monday morning. That'll be up on Monday. We got a bunch of stuff too from the past couple months as the Knicks kind of went through their off-season. So it's called The Bank Shot, the Knicks podcast. Make sure you check it out.
John Schmeelk, thanks a lot for your time, man. Really appreciate it, man.
Anytime, boys.
All righty, have a good one. And Dave and TM in the chat, just if you can just throw John's Twitter handle up in the chat so people can find him. Definitely appreciate all the time that John gave us. Hit that thumbs up button for you boys. If you guys are new, hit that subscribe button. This is the Knicks Talk, man. Last live stream before we take a break. We need a break, JLs, man. You know what I mean?
Oh, man. Yeah, man. Definitely need a break. Last live stream. I'm doing my last show today, too, before I take a break.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. All right, let me just reset some screens here. Thanks again to John Schmeelk. Let's go to a call while I readjust everything. Nate from Rochester's up. Wants to talk about the good and bad of Summer League. Nate, how you feeling, bro?
What up, guys? How y'all been?
Good, man. How you doing?
All right, I'm good. With the Summer League, I think we saw some good things. Especially, I think you guys touched on it, how Knox, RJ, and Iggy were all really good at passing the Summer League. And I think that's something that we should really take note of, because I remember I was listening to the Knicks Film School podcast, and he noted one of the guests he had, Jonathan Magri, how we were like the lowest passing team in the league, and it kind of like translated like how bad our offense was.
Yep.
So just to see like those guys like progressing, especially RJ, how he was feeding Mitch, because
I like that.
Like besides Trier, nobody was really like passing the Mitch down low when he had a mismatch, and it kind of got to me. So just seeing RJ do that like consistently was really good to see. I was really happy to see that from him.
Yeah, I agree with you, man.
Then what else? And then some of the bad. Knox was good this summer league, but what I want, and especially I like to see his passing improve, but his defense I really didn't like. He started to like gamble on some steals. I don't know if you guys saw this, but he was kind of like, it looked like he was trying more, but he was going for some bad steals and he kind of got burned by them. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but it's something I kind of saw, and I kind of hope he doesn't pick up that habit.
Yeah, I noticed it a
But,
few times in watching him when I was out there. I definitely noticed it a little bit. I mean, we all know in the defensive end is where his biggest challenge is going to come, right? Because it's like, how is he going to keep up with some of the faster wings? And he's definitely bulking up. So obviously, is he preparing for that small ball 4 role, which may open up for him some point, down the road.
Yeah, and then I guess I never thought Knox was going to be like a good defender, but like we can hide Knox like if we have like 4 people around him, especially like a small guard is a lot harder to hide than like a kind of like a wing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then my last point is go ahead.
Go ahead, JLs.
Oh, I'm saying, I have faith, man. Like the way he's been reading the offense so quickly, it gives me a little faith that maybe not this season, but maybe next season, like he'll be able to read the defense just as quickly as he's reading the offense. Like I have hope that he can be a decent team defender by the end of next season.
That's the hope. Last point, real quick, and then I'll let you guys go. My kind of main concern for like this upcoming season, and like we did get better at shooting, but especially at our point guard position, we still don't really have like any shooting coming from there. So I kind of worry how our spacing is going to be, like especially in the starting line, because DSJ or Payton are probably going to start this year, and then we're going to have RJ and Mitch, and even Julius Randle. I'm not sure how he's a shooter. I haven't seen him play much, but like there's not a lot of spacing in that lineup. We definitely have a lot of shooting off the bench, but
yeah, I
kind of want to see like how Fizdale kind of operates with that. Yeah. Like that's all I got, guys.
Yeah, JLs. Thanks, Nate.
That's why I keep saying that to me, Dotson is the best fit on the team because of his shooting and able to keep other guys honest and also able to play defense. But the other guys have a better all-around ceiling and skill set. So it's hard. The team doesn't really fit perfectly as of now. Now, Dennis Jr. can actually shoot some jumpers next to RJ, and that solves a lot of problems off of that. You know what I mean? So, but it's gonna be rough. We just gotta hope. We gotta hope that somebody got better at something in the offseason.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. It's definitely, like I said, I'm having high hopes for DSJ. We have no other choice, man. We don't have the bona fide point guard that we need on this team. And DSJ, he's a lottery pick. He's coming into his 3rd season. I hope that they can really help him maximize on his potential. You know what I mean? Absolutely, man. Shout out to everybody watching. Once again, we got about 400 people watching, so salute to everybody. CP from KnicksFanTV, my man J. Ellis from the Nick of Time Show. All right, let's take a couple more calls, and then we'll wrap up. Val from Jersey's up next. Wants to talk about Kevin Knox's progression in the Summer League. Val, how you doing, bro?
Yeah, for you. I have a quick question. Mm-hmm. Now that you see how our assets look and RJ Barrett look, do you guys feel much better not drafting overweight Zion?
Oh, well, that's still left to be seen. Zion hasn't really showed. It's still too early. Like, we haven't really seen him. We haven't seen him since last Friday in that little showcase game. He banged knees with somebody. They are now saying that he's been out of shape. So it's hard to tell. We just don't know what Zion is going to be yet. So very early, very early.
So if you could roll the dice right now, go back to draft night, and have the number 1 pick, would you take RJ or Zion? In all honesty, after seeing what RJ is capable of and what Zion's projected to be, allegedly.
Yeah.
I'm still taking Zion number 1.
You would take RJ?
I mean, I would still have to take Zion number 1 just because of the prospects. I mean, at the end of the day, I think RJ may slot out to be a more well-rounded player. But Zion, you just don't know yet. Zion could really be a superstar, man. And we just don't know what his impact is going to be on the league yet. One thing I do know is this dude is strong as a bull. And let me tell you something, JLs. One-on-one race to the cup. He's going to get his points. I just don't know how that's going to hold up over the course of his career because it's so much power on those knees. It's so much power on those knees, man. I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure, bro.
You gotta drop weight. You gotta drop.
Yeah. All right, Val. Thanks for the call, man.
Thank you so much, guys.
Always appreciate it, Val. Always appreciated. All right, let's go to 2 more calls. Let's go to Matt from Charlotte. He wants to talk about the potential starting 5. And he says he wanted to trade for Westbrook. This is Matthew Willard from the chat, right?
Yeah, what's up, man? What's up, CP?
How you doing, bro?
Hello?
Yep, loud and clear.
Hey, I know I hit you up on the Instagram and asked you about that too. So I'm gonna harp on it for a little bit and then get off it because obviously it's over with. You ain't gonna do it now. But I just thought they should. I thought they should have did their due diligence because I mean, if you think about it, right now we got a log jam at the point guard and everything. But I mean, I'm 44. I want some relevancy. I know you got to be patient and everything, but man, I mean, what are we doing? So to me, I know you always talk about the wins, 29. So, hey, I'm cool with tanking again. We might as well tank. You don't want to hit tank, so we might as well win. If we're trying to win, why not? They didn't even look into that because obviously the AD trade would have got fleet, but that they could have traded like maybe DSJ. And just, one, at least you, like you said, draw a line in the sand, say, hey, man, we'll give you DSJ and some other backup guys. It was more of a salary dump. They didn't even look into that.
See, Matthew, J. Ellis, man, he's coming up with the 2K trade. You can't do that, Matthew, man. You can't do that, bro. Go ahead, J. Ellis, man.
First and foremost, there's something called salary cap, right?
Right.
My man Westbrook, he makes $44 million, like around $40 million in the next 4 years or so. Like that's gonna destroy us, man. And you have to consider that he was on OKC with Paul George, and he still couldn't get out the first round. So now you're gonna trade half our assets to bring him here, and think he's gonna get it done on the East. Like I'm not for that. I'm for what? Maybe we got something in DSJ. You can be maybe not at Westbrook level, but something pretty damn good and won't cost us $44 million a year.
Matthew, man. Relevancy means nothing. This is why we never made it anywhere, Matthew. Is striving for relevancy. This is why we dumped everybody for Melo. This is why we got Stat with no insurance on those knees. This is why we mortgaged everything for Stephon Marbury. It's trying to stay relevant, trying to keep the marquee names in here, J. Ellis, and sell tickets and all that. That's not. And you know what's so funny too, J. Ellis, is that I even heard these established media members talking about, oh yeah, the Knicks should have done that to stay relevant. They needed a big name. Like, bro, I
don't understand it. I don't understand how they make fun of us for doing the same moves over and over again, and then when we don't do it, they suggest.
They should go get Westbrook. So they need a guy in there. They need a name. No, we don't need a name. We need to win.
About Chris Paul.
We need to win, man. Like, what is? Listen, man, there are no more boneheaded trades to be made, people. There's no more Melo trade to be made. We didn't trade for AD, thank God. We didn't trade for Westbrook, thank God. We're not trading for Bradley Beal. I don't know who the next disgruntled guy is going to be. My man Dame Dollars, who I always love, he just got his bag, so he's not going nowhere.
Yeah.
We got to stop chasing, man. We got to look from within. Matthew, I know you want some wins, but this is the road. This is the road. It's not a guaranteed road, but this is the path to our success. It's through building from within. Let's create our own stars. Why are we chasing everybody else's disgruntled, halfway beaten down stars?
Yeah, man. It's just not time. It's not time for the
It's
big
not our
stars.
time, man. It's not our time. We gotta be patient, JLs.
There might be a time when when we're hitting that 40 win mark or so, and we have a bunch of assets.
Right. Then you can sacrifice somebody to bring somebody else in because the team is strong, because the foundation is still strong. Exactly. We still have to build that foundation, people, so stay patient. JLs, let's play a game of fill in the blank, man.
All right.
So we're switching up the Q&As to include fill in the blanks, and I pose these questions to my channel, and here's some of the responses. We picked out our 3 favorite questions. So let's play fill in the blank, and people in the chat, please play along. So the first one, Dotson, Robinson, Knox, Ntilikina, DSJ, JLs. Who's the most improved player for next season? Who will be the most improved player for next season? Dotson, Mitch, Knox, Frank, or DSJ? Who are you going with?
I'm going to go with DSJ. I'm a hope. I'm a Kool-Aid.
Okay.
I'm a Kool-Aid that what he's been saying, DSJ gets better. I've seen a lot of Knox in the summer league. and he's been dominating. But I've seen what he's been doing at the end of last season, and I feel like it's not going to be such a huge jump for Mitch. But if DSJ got his weight down and can shoot, it might be more of a glaring jump, especially considering he wasn't that good when he got traded here. Like I feel like he actually got worse from Dallas. So I'm rolling dice on DSJ.
I'm going DSJ as well, man. I'm going DSJ. He's been in the gym with CP3. He's working on his game. He's been talking a good game. He's coming with a chip on his shoulder, man. He's coming with a chip on his shoulder. He hears the doubters. And I want to see him improving his three-point shooting. Obviously, his overall field goal efficiency needs to improve. And just showing that he can really take this team as his own and run this offense and swag out there and dunk on somebody. Dunk on Draymond Green when he comes into the Garden talking mess. You know what I mean? I feel like the mentals is there. He just got to put it all together, man.
Mm-hmm.
He just has to put it all together. And I think, Daryl Kane in the chat says DSJ most improved means playoffs. And like I said, I don't want to throw that P word out there, but if they do, it's going to be on the back of DSJ.
Yeah, guard play, man. Guard play is going to be huge for us.
Yeah. Well, let's see what some people in the chat say in terms of who most improved would be. I see a lot of DSJ. Yao Song says Frank is going to surprise.
If he gets minutes.
Yeah. Stro Swift 10. Stromile, shout out Stromile Swift. He says Knox or DSJ.
Okay.
John Talento says Mitch. I see one Knox, EJ 1. Reg Ice says Mitch all day. I see for the most part it's DSJ. Siobhan Robinson, DSJ. Ricky King, DSJ. Okay. All right, here we go. Next question. We got to this one a little bit earlier, but Anthony Calamari, interesting last name, says the starting lineup will be. Give me your starting lineups. People in the chat, throw your starting lineups in there and in the comment section. Jay Ellis, your starting lineup will be.
It's reluctantly DSJ, RJ, Morris, Randall, Mitch. Like the shooting, man, the shooting scares the crap out of me. The defense. I like what I've seen from RJ towards the last 3 games. Off-ball defense needs to be a lot better. But like, man, somebody got to shoot. Somebody has to shoot, and then a guard has to shoot, man. Somebody has to make a jumper.
Yeah. For me, I'm going DSJ. I'm going RJ. I'm going Knox at the 3.
Okay.
And maybe, we do make all this fuss about who starts. But, it's all about who finishes the game, right? Maybe you do start Knox, and maybe in a crunch time pressure situation, you go to Marcus Morris if you want a more steady hand to try to get some buckets and defensive stops, JLs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So maybe you get Marcus Morris ends up playing more minutes over the stretch of the game and then finishes. Randall, of course, at the 4. Mitch is the 5. Mitch is the 5. He can handle it. He can play small ball. He can play big. Doesn't matter. Money Mitch is the guy. What do you guys think in the chat, man? Who's your starting 5, man? Who's your starting 5? Somebody says my Knicks card has been revoked. Somebody didn't like. I guess somebody wanted Morris to start. Well, let's see. We'll see you starting 5s. Reg Ice agrees with me. Ice agrees with me. John Talento says Mitch, Randall, Morris, Barrett, Payton. That's your ideal lineup, JLs.
It's still the same problem. It's still the same shooting problem.
Diehard Knicks fan has Morris in there. Rich Jim has Morris in there. Let's see. Sammy Soso says my Knicks card has been revoked. I guess he liked Morris. Quiet Money has Morris in there. A lot of you guys got Morris in there. EJ1 starting Portis. Okay, EJ threw the wild card out there.
Oh, can I get my wild card lineup?
Yeah, go ahead. Who's your wild card?
Wild card lineup.
Yep.
Peyton, Dotson, Morris, Randall, Mitch.
Okay. All right. And shout out to whole team Dot too, man. Speaking of Mitch, Dave was out there at the Nate Robinson kickball and dodgeball game. He went to go interview Dotson. What's the first thing Dotson says? Oh, you the guys that are cool with Mitch. Brand is strong, JLs. And shout out Dotson. Dotson threw us a shout out as well, man. I'm going to throw that video up on Twitter and YouTube and all that a little bit later. But shout out to Dotson. The whole team is strong with the brand, JLs. We out here, man. Yeah, shout out to Dave for covering that as well. Okay, last question is from Robin Chowdhury from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. He says, blank will be the best player on the Knicks this upcoming season, JLs. Who will be the best player? We said DSJ was going to be most improved, but who will be the best player?
Julius freaking Randle.
Yeah.
Julius Randle, man. Julius Randle is not going to have anybody in front of him. He's been super efficient and high volume, like we talked about earlier. He can definitely hit 22, 24 around that a game and be efficient. It's just the defense, man. It all has to do with the defense this season, and hopefully Coach Fizdale can coach him on a defensive end.
I agree. I think Randall will be the best. I think the offense is going to run through him. He's going to be our go-to guy. If Mitch would have shown me some more from the offensive side of things, I think it could be Mitch. It just all depends on how active the guards get him. You know what I mean? How involved the guards get him. Obviously, on the defensive end, Mitch will be our guy. But from a scoring standpoint, he's not going to be able to match what Randall's going to give us. I think Randall's going to easily give us, 20 and 7 type games on a constant basis. So I think Julius Randle will be our best player, man. What do you guys think in the chat? Who's going to be the best player on the Knicks this season? Mike Powell says 24 and 11 for Julius.
24 and 11.
Big things.
That's big things like one. 11. Okay.
Greg says, I think if Mitch starts shooting, it's over. Okay.
Yeah, he got to shoot.
Yep.
You got to take one shot, man.
Simmer Singh agrees. It's Randall. Willie B says Knox. Sammy Soso, Randall. A lot of Randalls in here. A lot of Randalls. Okay. All right, cool. Young Simba says Julius Randle. Young Simba likes the lefties. He likes that lefty matchup. I remember that discussion during the draft. He's a lefty.
All lefty squad right now. It's crazy.
Yeah. All right, I think that's cool, JLs. I think we could keep these fill-in-the-blank segments going forward when we start up next season.
Okay,
I think, it's a way to, mix it up a little bit instead of just straight question and answer type of thing.
Nah, I feel you, man. I like it.
Yeah, man. Absolutely, man. So shout out for everybody who participated, and shout out to everybody in the chat as well. Okay, last call of the day before we get out of here. Back to North Carolina. It's Kevin. He wants to talk about replicating what the Clippers did last year. Kevin, how you doing, man?
Hey, how you doing? Can you hear me?
Yep, loud and clear, bro. What's going on?
Okay. I didn't want to get with y'all opinions on what I'm saying with this, and I want to get the chat's opinions too.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not saying we could do it like verbatim, but I think we could take the blueprint of what the Clippers did last season as a team and somewhat emulate it. I think it was a good combination of veteran presence, a little bit of youth, and then they had players that played for each other and played for their coach. I think when I break it down player by player comparison, you got Gildress, a young rookie who played a decent season. I compare that maybe to RG has a good season. I think Pat Bev. I think that Peyton could be a great value version of him. And then I think Gallinari. Yeah, he probably averaged the most on that team. He probably put up like 20-something points. Maybe Julius Randle could be that for. And then you get a mix of veterans, the hard-nosed playing players like Marcus Morris. I think maybe we can, maybe not playoffs, but maybe fight for that 8 seed. What y'all think about that?
I think we should be able to fight for 8, man. Let's take a quick look, man. And appreciate the call, Kevin. It's kind of staticky on your end, so I'm gonna mute your line, but I'll keep you on just to take a listen. Let me pull up the East real quick, J. Ellis, if you don't mind.
Right.
Let's pull this up here. Okay, so we had. Let me just make this a little bit bigger for those of you who need glasses. All right, here we go. So we had Milwaukee. You figure Milwaukee, and I think the Sixers are going to take the East. But you figure Milwaukee and the Sixers are going to vie for 1 and 2, right?
Yeah.
Toronto, I think they'll slide probably to, let's say 6, 7 range, right? They're still the champs. You got to respect them. Siakam going to be a good player. They got Anunoby coming back. I think they'll still be scrappy. I still think they'll play as a solid team and still defend fairly well, even though they're missing Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, they won a fair amount of games without him.
Right.
I think they were 15-5 without him.
Right. So figure Toronto will be in that mid tier, 5, 6. Boston, you figure they'll still be there with Kemba.
Yep.
Who else are they? They got somebody else, right? They got Carson Edwards, who I love.
They got the great Enos Cantor.
Yeah, they got Cantor too. Boston will be in the mix, no doubt about it. Boston will definitely be in it. Okay. Sure. Pacers. When does Oladipo come back? Because that will be the telling sign of what they do. They did get Brogdon, which is a good pickup for them.
Yeah, they get Brogdon and they lose. Well,
they lost Bogdanovich. They lost Bogdanovich. Collison retired. Yeah. Where'd Thaddeus Young go? Is Thaddeus Young still on there?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean he's like whatever anyway. But like I think that all depends on Oladipo. If Oladipo comes back healthy, I think the Pacers will be in there. If not, I think they'll be vying for 8. Nets obviously, you gotta give them the respect coming off last year. We'll slide them in at the same 6-7ish. You know what I mean?
Right.
Orlando Magic, they made the 7th seed last year. They could go either way. I don't think they were anything too crazy that like they're definitely returning. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like who did they just re-sign their players? Did they lose anybody? I'm not sure.
I gotta check. I'm not too sure. And then Detroit, they got D Rose. Who else did they get? I think obviously Detroit should be back in there. Charlotte, definitely not. They're gonna be one of the worst teams. Miami will obviously slide in there. The Heat will be up in there with Jimmy Butler.
That's right.
So,
I mean, somebody else is bumping out. I think we should be able to at least hover around 9-10, man. Yeah, I think we're going to be in the Knicks around 9-10.
You know what I mean? I think we should be at least able to hover around 9-10, maybe flirt with 8 at some point. Wizards, forget about it. They're trash. Bulls, no. Hawks, I don't think so. They could surprise.
The Hawks are a little sleeper because of...
I like how they finished the year, and I like how they drafted.
Yeah, I like how they drafted. You don't know how fast they're going to gel.
Yeah, I like how they finished the year, and I like how they drafted. Another year of Trae Young with CallIns. We'll see what DeAndre Hunter brings. The Hawks could be scary.
Yeah, the Hawks are sleeper.
Hornets are gonna be garbage. Wizards are gonna be garbage. Bulls gonna be garbage. Cleveland gonna be garbage.
Yep.
It's not out of the realm of possibility, man. Don't sleep. I'm not going to put the P word out there, but don't sleep.
Yeah.
Don't sleep,
We will see.
Yeah, don't sleep, man. Anything's possible. Like I said, the Pacers thing is key. I don't think the Magic are guaranteed anything. That they're not anything. I think we have a better team than them on paper right now, honestly.
Yeah, they just have that experience, and I don't know, their sense of play to the top.
Yeah, Natty says we're underrating the Bulls a little bit.
Think so?
I don't see it. Who do they got? Zach LaVine? Marketing like Zach LaVine. Who did they draft? They drafted. Who did the Bulls draft? It wasn't Culver, was it? Let's take a look. Who's on the Bulls? Google, tell me who's on the Bulls. They got Kobe White. Okay. Wendell Carter Jr., Chris Dunn, Chandler Hutchinson, Zach LaVine, Otto Porter. Yep. They got Thaddeus is on the Bulls. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Thaddeus is on the Bulls. Yeah. Whatever, man. Whatever, man. I'm not seeing it. So that just a little peek into the window of possibility. You know what I mean? We'll do some more content on that.
I'm 10-9. Yeah. We're in the mix, 10-9.
Absolutely,
man. 10-9. I'm gonna stop there.
Around there. We'll just stop there. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just take a little peek. Take a little peek in the window, and then dip off for a little bit. That's it, man.
Keep our head down, do the work, see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. But hey, Ellis, man, it was a good year.
Yeah, man.
It was a good year, man. We had a solid this was our first full season, right? We kicked it off from the open practice and went straight through. No, from the draft. Remember we were at the draft last year.
Word, had the draft, my trash ass reception.
Yeah. No, we had the draft, and then open practice. It was a good year, man. We had some great guests, man. We had Begley. We had Mark Berman. We had John Schmeelk, who just joined us from 660. Moke Hamilton.
Mo, yeah, stepped it up.
We had Tommy Beer. Tommy Beer was a great show, man.
Tommy was dope.
Tommy was a very good show. We had some scouts. We had Spencer Perlman, scouts. We had I had Brian Oringer on for Scout and RJ. We had shout out my guys Knicks Film School, Macri, JB.
Always.
Posting and toasting. Alex Wolf would fill in for you on Sundays. We had Schwinny on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had a good one, man. We moved the needle. We moved the needle a little bit.
Yeah, man, we had some big moments.
Yeah.
KP trade. And
Mount Monster moments. The KP trade. Obviously, everything with the lottery party.
Yeah.
Covered by ESPN. The lottery party was covered by ESPN. They weren't even at the Knicks official lottery party. They were at our party.
That's nuts.
Crazy. The lottery, the draft, free agency. Summer League was crazy too. I hope to see all you guys in Summer League. JLs, make sure you book your stuff from tonight. Book it for next year.
Yeah, man. Next year was booked like Nate Robinson.
Yeah, Summer League. We're gonna turn Summer League into like the biggest Knicks fan convention. They're gonna be tired of us in Vegas, man. They're not gonna understand. They're gonna think the Knicks are moving in Vegas. How deep we're gonna be next year. I hope you guys all come, man. Yeah, it was big, man. We did a lot of big stuff. CK2K, Terry and Trey.
Yeah, man.
It was big, man. We had a good run. It was definitely a good run. Definitely salute to everybody who's watched, who share these videos.
Who's the most memorable caller? Somebody's asking.
Oh man, most memorable caller, man. I don't know, man.
That's a lot of calls, man.
Yeah, it was a lot of calls, man.
I know my favorite caller intro.
Who was that? Oh, of course. Ron Cleveland, no doubt about it. Yeah. Ron Cleveland, no doubt about it, man. Ari had some good calls, definitely. I think Ari had some great calls.
Ari had some great calls, even though y'all killing my guy for the last call.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ari's.
He can take it though. He takes the criticism. He takes the criticism.
Ari had a really good shooting percentage. Right?
Yeah.
He had a really good shooting percentage. To be fair.
Absolutely, man. Shout out to all the mods too, man. Dave, appreciate it. Great work. Dave was out there. He did the fan on the street. He was out there at the Nate event yesterday. He takes the phone calls. Dave does a lot, man. So definitely salute to Dave. Salute to TM. TM set up everything on Discord. Definitely, I have no idea. I'm not one of those teeny boppers, man. I have no idea how the Discord works. My man TM went in there and dissected the whole thing, organized it properly. If you're not in the Discord, definitely do it. Alex Collins, man, all the way from Ireland.
Man.
Big
That's
supporter.
my guy, yo. That's my guy, yo. That's like, I call him the mayor.
Yeah. Big supporter of the show, man. Watching from Ireland till his eyes bleed, talking about the Knicks, man. Crazy.
4 a.m. in Ireland watching Knicks.
Yeah. Who else?
These live streams.
Yeah, so many people, man. So many people. But yeah, I think, listen, we took another step this year in getting the awareness. Like I said, I'll put this show up against any live stream of any sport. The format is the best. Taking phone calls, taking fan reactions, showing highlights. What more can you ask for, JL? So this is the show, and we're always hungry to get better and do it bigger. You know what I mean? Man. Within our possibilities.
You might get beat, and that there might be some new stuff coming next season. I know we've been talking.
Yeah. It's definitely gonna be some bigger stuff coming next year as well, man. So yeah, man. As we said, man, continue to support us. The way you do that, the super chats are very much appreciated. Channel donations are appreciated. Hit that thumbs up, hitting that like button sends this thing all the way up on YouTube. Sharing these videos on social media. This is how these things grow at an exponential rate. And this is how we were both able to grow this platform so fast. So it's up to you guys. We rely on you guys to share it. And if we earned it, a lot of you, if you guys are fans of the show, go ahead and share it. If you're not a fan, leave us feedback. And that's another thing. If you guys are going to thumbs down any videos or thumbs down any streams, be man enough or woman enough to leave us feedback. Don't be a coward. Leave us feedback. Even you could even say, hey, I don't like you guys, whatever. Just put it in the comment section. But if it's real feedback, you guys let us know so that we can always try to improve for the next time. you know,
Right.
for the next time, man.
Yeah, man. I gotta think. I mean, CP got his thing he's working out with his live stream, and because of that, now people know about the Nick of Time show on podcast. So thanks for everybody who actually watched the last episode, and hopefully we're gonna have the actual live stream up for CP up and running pretty soon. Hopefully.
Absolutely, man. So yeah, go ahead and close out, JL. So let them know where they can find you.
All right, man. So listen, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Twitter at thekltshow.com. You can see that little breath right there. Also on Instagram at Nick of Time Show. Also, the Nick of Time Show will be having its last episode airing on Tuesday on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify. We're featuring Terry from Terry Trey as well. So definitely give a check that out. And yeah, shout out to everybody who enjoyed our last show. And also, just gotta say rest in peace, Papa Ellis, my grandfather.
Yeah, man. Hold your head up, man. Definitely rest in peace, yo. So my condolences to you as well, bro.
Word. And that's it. Back to you, CP.
Absolutely, man. And thanks again, bro, for all your hard work this year, Jay Ellis. All your sacrifice as well, man. And salute to everybody that, like I said, for always supporting us. Check out the Knicks Fan TV merch. It's in the Knicks Fan TV channel description, under the video description. This show is also available for audio format. A lot of you guys are working. A lot of you guys, you can't use YouTube for your battery data plan. I'm on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, all under Knicks Fan TV. Your Mitch Please t-shirts still available, still ringing off the shelves. You saw Mitch out there in Summer League wearing the shirt. He's repping the brand, friend of the program. Shout out to Money Mitch. And like I said, share these videos on Twitter. #PostGameNYK. You share those videos, we'll put you in the exclusive Twitter group chat and then also to the Discord group chat. So that's your way of keeping the conversation going, especially during kind of the dog days of summer, the dog days of the off season. We don't have much to talk about. Until then, as I said, I'll have some more recorded content coming out on my channel in the coming days and weeks. So just continue to support, continue to look out for that. And once again, man, thanks again, everybody, for supporting us, all the day ones, all the loyal followers, everybody that comes in here on a daily, waiting on us to come in. Definitely appreciate the support, man. It goes a long way, man. It goes a long way, man. All right, JLs, man. Great job as usual, bro.
Yeah, man. Same here, man.
Peace.
Same as always.
Yes, sir.